my intention was to do it now. Just whether that's being videotaped or not is up to you.
And go.
Two points of discussion. First is I found a potential alternative to the critical hit, critical fumble table that we've been using. Been using like it's been often. We, I think, rolled on it one time in our first game. I will sometimes do like test combats where I play both. I play with myself. I play you guys against like different monsters of challenge ratings to see. Sometimes in 5e, like the challenge rating system is worthless. It's not really very helpful. So every once in a while, when I'm trying to like take a new group of players who I'm not sure what their problem solving or combat acumen is really going to be, I like to just mash some action figures together and sort of get a feel for what is or isn't going to be like a lethal encounter. I had a really bad experience piloting the 4 of you or the 5 of you. I killed one in a bad death spirally scenario where we had 2 or 3 critical misses in a row and the fumbles came up horrible. And I know we discussed that as like that's the downside of critical fumble tables, right? Is that sometimes the sun shines on you and you get like the Vorpal sword that instantly kills somebody with a 100 on the crit table, but every once in a while the fumble was pretty bad. So I wanted just to check in and make sure that we were still on board with that. And if not, I'm going to link in Discord a web page that offers a diminished version of a critical hit, critical fumble table. It basically has no additional effects happening on a 1 through 50, with the negative side effects only starting to pile on at a 51 and above. Sort of, I don't know if that takes away the fun of if you get that nat 20 and then you roll and it's like, oh, it's a 49. That's nothing, right? Fuck, that sucks. But I just wanted everybody's buy-in, I guess, one more time, since we've had, I think, 1 or 2 critical hits, but no failures yet, that with only 32 hit points, sometimes like the enemy getting to make an extra attack, which is on the table, can be devastating. It can be bad. So more just looking for you guys to give me a thumbs up or thumbs down. Like, yes, we love the critical hit table. It's so much fun, and we haven't seen the consequences, but I don't even know what those are.
What's the consequence?
or like, yeah, let's just play a few games and see it and come back to this conversation. Or, you know what, you were probably right. Let's do the decreased version.
I think it's kind of fun, but if anyone has strong feelings, I'm okay going with it.
I'm in the same boat. I like the accidental, we all died. Crap. Because it's an epic story afterwards.
I'm down for either. Being able to make terrible mistakes is always
that's part of the game.
Life.
Okay, Michelle, I know you had some reluctance in the beginning about using the table anyway. What are your thoughts? Yeah,
you're muted.
I'm the best DM ever. Aw. Oh, I agree. Can't hear a word you're saying. So I'm just assuming what you're saying. Yes, that's okay.
So was that yes, use the table, or yes, we should change the table?
Well, I think it was yes, I'm both handsome and a skilled DM. Is what I took. My takeaway from that was very clearly what the thumbs up meant to me.
Michelle, you're muted in Discord.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. I unmuted, but it said no, so I had to disconnect and reconnect. I honestly don't care, John. I would rather, if people have opinions, like, let's let them do that. If you guys want to die, then I'll watch you die.
All right, fair enough. As always, I don't want to close the door forever. If we have some really bad experiences, you guys can let me know if you want to revisit the topic. Otherwise, we're going to leave the table as it is, and dice will fall where dice fall.
Sounds good.
Second thing, I remember. Caleb, on your Ranger, I was hoping we would get some use out of these class features, but it didn't come up last session, and I'm not 100% sure it's going to come up this session, so I just want to throw some thoughts out there. The character sheet that you have now has 2 different versions of Ranger abilities on them. there's like the factory default Ranger from the core 5e book, as well as some potential enhancements, alternate class features from the Tasha's Cauldron of Everything. And like one example is Natural Explorer versus Deft Explorer. That's supposed to be a choice where you're picking one or the other. You have both. I don't want to say I'm okay with letting you cheat. I don't think having both of those features is necessarily like gonna break the game balance at all. But I wanted you to be able to see like the value of one versus the other, and then make a decision on what you thought. Because telling you, if you've never played a Ranger or D&D for that matter, at any real depth or length, like pick one, that's hard to know what the right choice is going to be. So I thought maybe we could find an in-game example where like Deft Explorer was better or Natural Explorer was better, and then you could make a choice. So
Okay.
I think that's still my plan.
Sounds
The
good to
other
me.
example is like favorite enemy versus favorite foe are like an either or choice. So I'll try to find ways where in the next couple of sessions we'll try to make use of some
Make
of those
a
abilities
choice.
so you can see the value of one versus the other and then make
Okay.
a choice.
Sweet.
Just keep that in the back of your noodle somewhere.
Sounds good.
And then lastly, as before we pick up where we left off, we did not end the session the way that I wanted to with inspiration. So we'll start this session with that. Using your memories, we can do a recap first if you want. Who remembers what happened last week well enough to give us a previously on Dungeons and Dragons?
I can give it a shot.
Go.
Oni and I were fighting in the arena with a couple of pawns, and we slaughtered them, of course, and or the other guys, that is. Then somebody shot the dragon dudes over here that are full of crossbow bolts, and that gave everybody the idea to use them in the when the scorpions showed up. The scorpions showed up with the dudes over there on the bottom left. These guys, and there we go. And when we they said that they were looking for somebody. I don't remember what name they used, but I think it was my character. And then they all caught on fire and died. Ish.
I love stories that are, as told, completely true, and also so not helpful
Vague.
to like. It's both 100% accurate and also not really at all what happened. That's perfect. Does anybody have any points they want to add? Something that was relevant or salient to their character or their experience?
Oh no, nailed it. Great. Perfect. 100%. That is what happened.
I have a 7 and int, so.
Oh, you're role playing. Got it. This was the story recounted by Hoppy.
Well, I killed shit, and then they
Sounds
started
right.
yelling
Yep.
at me, and then I appeared over there, and I could no longer kill shit, and I was sad.
Make it sound like you started to say something.
Nope.
Okay. I will add only 2 points of clarification, I think. That the robed figures were seemingly working in some kind of coordinated effort in unison, and that they were wearing silvered face masks that were meant to look like a burning flame. And they attempted to curse Hoppy specifically, and had some kind of like call to arms or call to battle that was essentially death to the Tatarak. The Tatarak are the like god-touched, the people like Hoppy that are born half divine bestial and half human form. These people apparently do not like that. They don't like what a god bull did to some poor lady somewhere. And that when they failed in that mission, there was some kind of self-immolation process that burned them to what they left behind, which was a silvered humanoid skeleton. All right, so knowing that, refreshing your memory of what we did last time, I told you guys I wanted to make sure that we were doling out inspiration a minimum of 1 time per session, and that sometimes I would just put that up to vote. So let's have a quick show of hands or suggestions if anybody wants to nominate a player for inspiration. I think there were a number of pretty interesting roleplay and heroic character actions. Who among you do you guys think is worthy of receiving inspiration for last session?
Just one person, or can we nominate 2 people?
You guys make the argument to me, and I'll adjudicate.
Well,
I think my
Wait. Unless the answer
for
is
it,
I
Mike.
deserve 2 because I'm the best.
I nominate Draco for that awesome magical maneuver.
I will second that.
And I
Yeah.
also want to nominate Renan for that amazing, like, dagger through the skull of the guy that was standing in the ground. That was awesome.
Which she totally meant to do.
Totally.
It was clearly
100% on purpose, straight through the eye. The
If I know her at all, she's a woman of intention.
Yeah, I nominate Draco.
I'm comfortable giving it to both Draco.
no,
and
give it to
Renan.
Draco.
No, I
That
think
was
both
way
are good.
cooler.
So like I'm a very combat-oriented DM and player, so I like the idea that we're giving it to Draco for strategic thinking
Not-
and really clever in-game role-playing, and then to Renan for sort of like a combat dominance moment.
Unintentional though.
Yeah, so make sure both of you tick the inspiration box in your character sheet, upper left-hand corner if memory serves, and remember you can only have one, so do find an opportunity to use it, because you may very well earn another one before you've spent the one you've got.
I'm going to take just a second to test Mike for stream. How is that? Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yes.
I bet she's not talking to me.
Zeph can only hear me through your mic.
Well, that's not great.
Testing.
Are you logged in as guild group?
Nope, he cannot hear me. Okay. Keep going. I am. I will try to figure it out.
Okay, thanks.
So, quick question again. Then, what's the inspiration thing for again?
Inspiration. I'm gonna be broad, and if there's ever like a corner case where it narrowly doesn't apply, I'll just let you know. Anytime a 20-sided contest happens, you can spend that inspiration token to give advantage to you or disadvantage to me.
Okay.
So, like an example would be an attack roll that you feel like you is very important that you need to hit. Just say I would like to inspire this roll. You burn your token and you get advantage on that roll. Conversely, if you're like at 1 hit point and I say it's my turn to attack, you say I would like to inspire that roll. I roll twice, keep the lesser of the 2 rolls. An important stealth check, whatever. There are some narrow corner cases where it doesn't apply, but we'll cover those if and when they ever come up.
Okay. Thank you.
Of course. Also, while we're doing clarification, while Megan's working on an audio problem. Zach, see if you can move the little. I changed his features here.
Yeah, I
a bit.
saw that. He looks pretty awesome.
And he has a static hit point total. You'll have to remind me or remember yourself to update those as you level, because it's 5 plus 5 times your druid's level. So right now it's just 20 HP, but that won't happen on its own. It's like a locked-in time static token, so we'll have to update that manually. But you should be able to find his character sheet by shift double-clicking it and have a controllable flamey-ish dwarf-looking man token for now.
Yeah, it worked.
The other point of clarification that came up, when we talked about movement in the game, I don't want to be married to the grid in a slavish way. I don't want a totally cinematic combat to fall 5 feet short of an awesome charge. Like, I don't want Mark's Minotaur to drop its horns and, charge 40 feet to gore the bad guy at a critical moment that is going to be cinematically beautiful. And then I recount and go, actually, Happy, that's 9 squares, so you can't do that. Like, I will generally go out of my way to give you guys a little bit of extra, until I feel like it's being abused, right? Like the time in the last episode where like Caleb wanted to reach the dragon mouth crossbow launcher was awesome, and we shortcutted the move by saying he was going to make an athletics check to jump the gap. That was a great solution. So until it becomes like Michelle saying, "Oh, I'm going to move 50 feet and then 10 feet more, and then another free 10 feet and then 10 feet more," I would like to have us think as movement is a little bit fluid. That said, it is worth keeping in the back of your brain that the fire elemental's teleport, I think, has a range of only 15 feet.
Oh,
So
and we kind of overdid it.
a little bit, right? And I think it was
Gotcha.
super cinematic and way cool here. And in the future, I'm willing to let those abilities be a little bit exaggerated, but I just want you to know that, well, basically, you're getting away
Appreciate
with murder.
I was preventing it
Right. I
until
think
we
it
did
was,
murder everybody.
it was great. I just like I sometimes make exceptions in games, and then people forget that that was the exception to the rule rather than the rule.
Right. Gotcha.
So fun. Want to see it used that way very often. That's super cool.
Right.
We'll have flexibility in the future. All right. With all that said, we'll start session 2. Picking up basically right in the aftermath of the defeat of the giant scorpion, the silver skeleton people that leave you all with a puzzling question mark over your heads. The arena guard have moved in. The patrons are being rushed out. They are trying to collect the gladiators to be returned to their holding cells just until, like, things are calmed down. Hands were initially put on Oni and Hoppy. Oni, of course, being the Primus gladiator and free, declined the invitation to return to the holding pens. But also, I think, was arguing that she would like to decline Hoppy's invitation as well. Now, Hoppy is still a contract-bound gladiator, so he doesn't have the same freedoms that Onaria has. So we're going to be dealing with that. We'll pick up right in the midst of that, with guards trying to draw Happy away, and that moment of sort of tense, possibly diffusable conflict. I'm going to leave everybody on the map where they are. If you would like to be closer or farther, go ahead and start moving your characters wherever you'd like them to be. But where is Hoppy? There he is.
Where
We got
are the
guards
people
coming
who
down
are
here.
trying to get? So
Everything, all the action's happening on the left half of the arena.
okay, the stream problem is they can only hear me through your mic.
I see that as a feature, not a bug. Have you tried logging in as yourself and not guild group?
The mic should be fed directly through OBS though.
I'm not saying I disagree with that. I was just saying it gives us another data point. Or you can just, like, mime for the camera what you want to be said, and I will do my best interpretation of what you're saying.
That sounds.
And I'll just repeat for the audience at home.
I would like to play this way. Yes.
Okay, yep.
Critter. I
You're
would
gonna
like to
become-
volunteer.
Very complimentary all of a sudden.
All right. Well, I'm gonna hop in with my dude, Hoppy.
Yep. So as the guards approach, they continue to, like, one of them is looking at the shackles and looking at Hoppy's wrists, and he's doing, like, the open and close sort of Pac-Man mouth with them, like, I don't think these are even gonna fit. Like, they do the it's time to come with us, with, like, the flaccidity in their voice that lets you think it's really more of a request than it is a command, because looking around, there's just these two guards, like, there's no backup coming. And they're looking, when you have to crane your neck to look someone in the eyes, everything becomes a request and not a command. But they remind you that, there's still money on your contract. You're still technically owned by the Catal. It's time to return to your cell until the chaos here at least is understood. Would you please come with us, sir? Mr. Giant Bowman, sir? Shackles?
Knowing that I'm still indebted, I'm more likely to follow them, but I'm still kind of raging and coming down off of the thing, so I'm just kind of hulking out for a minute. If somebody else, I'm gonna pass if somebody else wants to say anything.
Okay. Hoppy, like, tentatively offers up, like, one arm, still kind of shaking, rushing, flooded with adrenaline. And they sort of just try to, like, tie the manacle around, like, length of chain wise, like a ribbon, because the cuffs on the manacles just do not close around his massive wrists. And they start trying to, drag him, content that he surrendered, but It reaches about the end of the chain, and they just both come to a standstill. They can't drag him, and at this moment, Hoppy's body just isn't willingly walking with them. He seems to be conceding to the point that, he understands his debt situation, but either is reluctant to go or is still sort of in combat mode and can't go. 2 other guards are coming across from the other side of the arena to help out. They've got weapons drawn, which maybe sends the wrong message. This guy leading the way just says, go ahead.
I want to ask them where the scorpion came from. Why was it included in this? This wasn't in the contract. This wasn't in the fight.
Yeah, he says, completely agree, man. We don't know. That's why we got to get everybody to safety. We're gonna get you in a safe space. We'll figure this out. We just need you to just come with me now, please. We don't know what happened. There may be more danger here. Mar just wants to get all of his assets safely locked down so that none of you get hurt, because you're all worth some money.
Why were they looking for me?
Who was looking for you? I'm looking for you. You got to come with me because you're worth more than I am, and if you get hurt, it's on me. So please just come with me.
I'm gonna talk to Ani and be like, do you care about that thing? If you care about that thing's in danger, and we got to get the hell out of here right now.
I do care about that thing, and I'm going to step in between Hoppy and these guys as best I can, and put my hand on this guy's chest and say, yeah, no, that's not going to happen.
Mm-hmm. And then we do our caca, caca, which is a signal for we got to get the fuck out of here.
Okay, I see that signal. So then I just teleport the group 15 feet away.
I think we just retreat and see what happens.
Yeah.
Let's go in the opposite direction, everybody.
Well, when I retreat, I do flame damage to those around that I don't want teleported.
Listen, Fireboy, do your thing.
Okay, let me get my thing here out. That's not what I want. Okay.
Also, caca, caca. Now is our international symbol for get the fuck out. Run.
It's
God, is that a
established.
panicked bird?
And I got a 6. So they did. Oh, hold on.
I'm marking
Get out of my
damage
way.
on the 2 guards that were there holding or attempting to shackle Hoppy. They're like, dusty brown cloaks catch fire immediately. They sort of, bring them up to shield, not realizing that cotton is going to burn quite well. Having to basically remove the outer layers of their clothing and stamp them out. There are some small first-degree burns on their arms and chest. As you guys teleport away and start moving to the other side of the arena, this guard that was advancing, trying to talk rationally, calls out and just drops his spear. Well, not drops it, but gently places it on the seating bench and asks you to calm yourself. There's too much at stake here. Oniara, think of your reputation. Think of your wealth. Please let us end this conflict peacefully.
Think of your life. This man is safer with me. So if you don't mind, we will be excusing ourselves. You'll know where to find me.
He is uncertain of what that means. I need you to make an intimidation check.
Yeah.
If you need help, let me know. I can be very intimidating with my flame.
I mean, I am not very intimidating, actually.
I'll let you replace your strength instead of charisma if you want for the roll. So you rolled a 6 plus whatever your strength mod is.
My strength mod is 3.
9. They're not. He's the 2 guards that were with Hoppy that are now also burned. Like literally just sheathed their swords and turned to walk away. Like, well, you heard what she said. Like, we're not gonna fight her. And he picks up his spear and like orders them back to their position. Like, guys, who do you work for? Who does she work for? Who owns Hoppy? He says, this is getting out of control. The town guard will be here in a moment. You know that you're in violation of the law. Please don't make this messy. I will ask politely, that you join Hoppy and just come with me and speak to Mar so that we can resolve this peacefully, and that everyone can continue to get wealthy beyond imagining.
I'm over this.
Mar can come to my place, and we can chat there. If you obviously are not in control of the situation, if you don't know where the scorpion came from, or where those other silver-boned freaks came from, then I don't trust your ability to keep me safe. Or anyone for that matter, so we will be excusing ourselves.
Interesting tact.
Well, you got some balls in you, you know, since Mars like the master of the area.
I'm the
Jeez.
Primus!
She's all amped up from
He's
that
the
battle.
boss.
In your mind, as Oni, are you making this statement as like a persuasive argument for why everyone will be safer if you retreat, or is this more like a ... or else?
Oh,
Like, are you brandishing your weapon and saying like,
it is
I'm leaving, and if you stop me, it will be it?
or else. You will not
Okay.
be stopping me from joining the rest of my family.
Then go ahead and re-roll intimidation, but this time do that with advantage.
Yes.
Nice.
Your reputation precedes
Crit. Damn it.
you. You rolled an 8 plus 3 is 11. Swapping out your strength for your charisma, because you're not really like making subtle insinuations about the threat of violence that might befall them. You are literally showing them what's going to happen if they get in your way. You don't know whether you've scared him or whether you're making rational sense, but he orders his men to stand down and says, expect a visit from Mar this evening.
Thank you for being reasonable.
And says that if you leave the city or steal his property, know that there is nowhere on Geb that you will be safe from him.
I have no reason to do either of those things.
Very well. He nods and gives you the gladiatorial salute, and goes back to getting the rest of the patrons out of the arena and some of the injured gladiators. You are basically free to move about the cabin. Is your intention just to bolt out of the arena now, or is there any reason you want to hang out?
I don't want to hang out. I'm fine just heading back to our safe house.
Okay. As you are just pushing past people, you notice that there's a man who's dressed like you would imagine picture like a horse farrier, like a leather jerkin apron and thick boots and like maybe one torn leather glove, combined with some kind of primitive medieval surgeon, like a Civil War era battlefield surgeon who just has like a long pokey steel rod and a couple of bone saws attached to his hips, and he's literally walking around and painlessly ending the lives of the gladiators that are too injured to be salvaged. And when he gets to the horse, he looks up to the arena, and a very well-dressed woman with a gold medallion around her neck gives him the thumbs down, and he also inserts the silver spike into the horse's brain, ending it pretty quickly. She counts everything and starts writing things on a small tablet that she's got with her. Just kind of like the grim reality of this sport sometimes is
The inventory.
disturbing. Yeah, like this is just lost inventory. So you guys are out and on your way to a safe house. Do you collectively have one that you go to normally, or are you just trying to access the Aleum network?
Unless anyone opposes, I imagine that we have plenty of secret safe houses. But since I did just tell these people that they need to come meet us on our turf, I want to go to a publicly known safe house, which could be a popular inn or tavern, just someplace that we can be, like, blatantly visible to people. To let them know that we're not hiding.
I got a question before we're going out. I'm where my position is. Do I see anything on the bodies over here? that I can have my guy pick up just for checking out, or no?
Their robes have been completely immolated. There are 2 perfectly articulated silvered human skeletons. One of their masks has been completely fused to the skeleton, but the other's silver mask is lying in the sand of the arena.
Can you
Mostly
hear me?
cracked, slightly melted. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Could I
thank
get my guy to grab the one laying on the ground and bring it to me?
Absolutely.
Also, is there any monetary value to these silvered skeletons? Are they actual silver?
You are not, a miner or a gemologist or anything else. I'm willing to let you make a wisdom check to try to appraise them, but unless you spend some time going through them, it would just be a best guess.
Can I put
can
them in the
take a
bag
look.
of holding?
At least a skull.
Yeah, can I put a skull in the bag? I would like to put a skull. I'm putting a bag. No, I'm putting a skull in the bag of holding. I'm
It's the
taking
bag
it
of
and it's
sculling
mine.
into the hold.
The skull's in the hole. Whole skull.
Okay. As you attempt to sever it, there's a little bit of tension. It has fused the entire length of the vertebra together in this process. So instead of there being spaces between them, it has become like a silver rod to which this head is attached to. You can pry your dagger in there and break it free. Silver is pretty soft. Just an interesting note that it has altered. Not only has it transformed the skeleton through some unknown alchemical process, it has also sort of modified its structure.
Yeah, we're gonna have to find someone that knows what this is, and I'm keeping it.
So
And it's freaking awesome. It looks like a flame head. Come on.
Yes,
Renan,
Draco, we
have
know.
silvered skull in your inventory, and Draco, you can add a silver flame mask.
Thank you, sir.
Is it so the spine is more like a club now?
Yeah.
Oh hell yeah, I'm having a spine club.
Seeing Renan pry just the skull free of one, and not to be left out, Hoppy just kind of steps on the intercostal space of one skeleton's chest and just wrenches out the entire skull and spinal column attached. And for you, it's like a nice little one-handed improvised club. And
Silver?
Draco has 3 other proficiencies. Yeah, you can put it as Silver Skull Club. I think I'll remember what that is.
Okay.
And if you want
I'm
to,
guessing that's not in the list over here.
not specifically, but you can just pull club down to give you the stats for attacking with a club, and then under special properties you can just mark it as silver.
Got it.
Should we come across any werewolves? I'm gonna move us. This is a local tavern that Oni frequents. The people here know and respect you. Moreover, because this is the gateway to several Eleahem houses. And Oni, as you invite everybody in to join you, what is the name of this tavern that is the central spoke and the hub of safe houses you've created?
Well,
The pepperoni and pineapple.
The first thing that came to mind was the Hog's Head, but that's only because I was recently re-listening to Harry Potter.
It's yours to name. If you want Hogshead, we can do that.
Yeah, let's name it Hog's Head.
Okay. Is it the Hogshead Tavern, the Hogshead Inn, the Hogshead, just Hogshead? Is it 2 words? Is it 1 word?
It's the Hog's Head Meadery. It's gonna make mead.
Okay, the Hogshead Meadery. As you come in, the door creaks on its hinges. Old wood that's been sun-baked for years creaks open, making just this obnoxious sound. Everyone looks, and there's a hush. The few patrons that are here this early in the day all turn heads on a swivel to see who it is, and there's just a Oni! Spilling beer and debris everywhere. Obviously fans of the Catalarena, maybe even once or twice. This is something maybe you've bought a round or 2 here. You are well liked in this group. You feel comfortable and at home. and you get the knowing like wink and nod from the bartender, who's a friend of Alea's, if you know what I'm saying.
Ooh. I like this friend.
Hello, friends. Anyone here have news of what happened in the arena today?
Someone's humble bragging.
They all were like, "No, we're gonna go watch you fight later." Wait, what time is it?
It's drunk 30.
Time for another round.
I'm afraid you missed it then, friends. It was quite exciting. In fact, I'm hoping that someone here may have some intel for us regarding what happened. Or at least who may know about the care of a giant scorpion.
They all like the ones that you fight.
Only bigger and more indestructible.
Sorry, I'm just consulting my notes for a second.
No.
I was under the thought that it was just the normal beast from your fights. They just released it early.
He says they all sort of go like, "Well, all giant scorpions are hard to kill. You know that better than most. But if you were in the arena, you just left the best place for animal knowledge. Ptah could have told you everything you needed to know about giant scorpions." Ptah. Ptah. He gets lost in the humor of his own voice making funny sounds. The barkeep suggests with subtle body language you should come over, and he says they've been drinking all morning, they're not going to be much help to you. But they're not wrong in that Ptah, the keeper of beasts at the arena, would be the best source of information to ask questions about. He
Can you send a runner for him?
says that he doubts taking measure of your full size, looking at Oni for like the approval that this guy is cool, then answers your question, Hoppy, by saying that very few things will get Ptah out of the arena. He's got many animals to care for, and he's an indentured servant of Mar. They're not allowed to leave the compound.
Well, we'll see to Ptah later. I think the order of the day will be some privacy. Do you have a room available for us to meet in?
He asks, "What does a pilgrim traveling from the east require?" This is like a challenge code used amongst the safe houses. There is a pre-programmed response for you're seeking a safe house, a pre-programmed response for you're seeking a safe house but you're in distress, and a pre-programmed response for like we're not actually talking about this right now. Like
Show him
I
your
mean,
titties.
I mean like a legitimate just room upstairs, not a safe house. I don't need to be moved. We're not in trouble.
Probably that one, right?
You would think I would know what those sayings were.
Oh, you do. You can
It's
answer
just-
in code.
It's a different bird call.
Oh, okay.
I'm just asking for you what your intentions are. Do you want to be moved through a network of safe houses to a different hidden location?
No.
Do you want to tell him that you're in danger without anybody knowing that, or do you want to just say, "Yeah, we just need like a regular room upstairs"?
We just need a regular room upstairs. I want to stay here if this is where the guy.
So what's your code?
For his property.
You respond to him that a man seeking wisdom must unburden himself. And
Adding
he's
to
like,
notes.
he just shrugs like, "Really? Okay." He goes back to like polishing some of the mugs that these people are just making a mess of, and asks you, "Wait, Oni, should we be expecting trouble?"
You know it.
My friend, you should always expect trouble.
Well, I guess what I'm asking is, like, regular person trouble, and then he like removes this curved Chris dagger from underneath the counter, or Oni trouble.
I only know of one kind.
He sighs deeply and like takes the Chris and hides it in a back sheath.
Oni the Lonely. Aww.
By the way, someone will be coming to look for us. We are not hiding. Please show them to our area when they arrive.
Maybe
just
put away
nods.
anything breakable.
It is not uncustomary for you to tip members of this underground alliance. Sort of greases the wheels.
That's fair.
He respects you. You guys have a history. He's not going to ask you for it. I'm just saying, like, as a matter of course, it's not.
I only
Uncommon.
Give him a
You-
gold piece.
Yeah, I'll give him a gold piece.
I'll give him one. Just as in good,
I got it too.
you know.
Okay.
I took it out of my inventory.
Mhm.
Hey. I gave him one too.
He really takes a long, hard look at Hoppy and at Draco, kind of just trying to figure out their stories. But you know, his seeming allegiance to Oni is greater than all other concerns, and shows each of you the way upstairs to a large shared meeting space. It's like a grand hall above the bar that has two branching bedrooms, left and right sides, like east and west side of the rooms. Down a lengthy hallway to the other side of the tavern, there are 4 other like accommodating rooms for overnight stays, 2 on each side of east and the west of the house. But you were in this large shared space. I am happy to fast forward until your visitor comes to call, but if there's anything you guys would like to talk about, why
Yes,
they came
please.
to find you, now would be a great time for that kind of interlude.
Well, this is the first time we've had the opportunity to chat, so I'll look at Renan and say, what brought you down to the pits today?
I'm going to embrace her, which is actually quite uncommon. We're normally not physically, and then I'm going to hand her the scroll, which I'm assuming is the letter from Sari.
Mm-hmm.
For
While
the
this
sake
is going,
hold on one second. For the sake of the stream, do either of you want to read it aloud?
I do not. I handed it to her.
Thank you. No.
That's a hard. Thank you. No.
All right, let me find it.
Sorry, you got 3, 2, 1 to not it. Oh, can people even hear you though?
Ooh.
Oh yeah.
That was
Shit.
not intended.
Me open Discord on my phone.
Okay. I
Okay.
don't remember how to
Are you ready?
Wajadat. Is that correct?
I'm not going to say, I don't know how to say the word, even though you told us how to pronounce it. So to my family, I'm changing it.
Go.
Before we were found, I felt hollow. The emptiness in my soul grew with hunger, jealousy, and hate. It was hard to see a purpose, a path for me to walk in this world. The only balm in all of the sands of Geb was my sister Renan. Until we found you. Sharing a life with each of you has enriched my own. I've learned strength of body and fortitude from Ani's time in the Quetal. I have learned wisdom and patience from Aman, who taught me to read the sands. I've learned about the natural cycle of death and rebirth from Draco, who showed me that fire is both a creative and destructive force. From my sister, I've learned to keep secrets, learned to trust the darkness, and how to spot a loose coin purse. While I'm so thankful for all that you have shared with me and for the life we've built together, our family has also helped shine a light on the stark contrast of my own path. Each of you has found a purpose, dedicated yourself to its pursuit, and achieved measured success. I walk no path of my own. I sit in the shadow of each of you. Of each of your great trees. Guys, I really need glasses. But have not grown myself. I left all of those months ago without a farewell to find my way in Geb, to learn what fate has in store for me. I resolved to not return to you all until I was worthy of your company, until I had mastered my path. I write this letter on the eve of something great and something terrible. I fear I may not be able to return to you. Say that word, John.
Wajadat.
Wajada. I do not fear the path before me. I learned from each of you that it takes courage to become who you really are. Should I not survive the perils before me, I wanted each of you to know that I love you. The best parts of who I am come from the 4 of you. I was blessed to be found. Thank you. Do not attempt to find me. Your little sister, Sari.
Sorry, not sorry.
That's right.
Sure.
I don't think she wrote this.
You don't think that she wrote this?
Well, I think she wrote it under distress. It doesn't sound like her at all. There's no way she would tell us not to find her.
When did
She would
her
know.
arrive?
That's a great question.
It took you 3 days to get everybody together and to arrive here in Noonrest. So you would have received it 4 days ago.
I received it 4 days ago. My narrator told me that.
My internal monologue said
4 days ago.
4 days. It was real
My-
long-winded about it, though.
My psychic told me 4 days ago.
Okay. And when did we last see her or have a known location for her?
I don't even know. I've lost track of the days. I know that I have been all over Gebs searching for her.
We'll find her and we'll get her back.
Sounds like she's in trouble.
I just don't know why she would send this to us now. After months of no word, and then to say to me not to find her, there's no way she would say that if she didn't need me to find her.
The timing is very peculiar.
Anything big happening here soon that you know of?
Well, I'm not sure what their interest is in taking Hoppy. But if they want it
What do you
that
think?
bad,
Do you think the two are connected? I mean,
I don't think we can rule in. I don't think we can rule anything out at this point.
You don't think she joined the cult, do you?
I don't like those words. As the kids say, bet, say less.
How is that?
No, I'm never doing that again.
No, I need the head tilt also.
No,
Don't worry, it's
There
recorded
it is.
forever.
It is.
with crazy eyes.
Yes. Is there anything else you guys need to discuss as a family or want to discuss as a burgeoning party of adventurers?
I'm
Do we
just
know
wondering-
her last known location?
Doing my best to meld your backstories together, Amon, I think you may actually be the last person to have seen her.
Okay.
You
And where was that?
in the outskirts of Abydos on a hunting trip, she went with you. It was a recurring family tradition. Many people come with you. You do your best to sort of teach them survival tactics. I think mostly they go with you for the closeness, for the family time, and to like appease you. Like, okay, Dad, sure, I'll come and learn how to hunt stuff. They don't really care about the hunting trip so much as the time with you. But you guys had a pretty big fight, a blowout. She was upset that she didn't have purpose, that she didn't have a place among you. You thought that she was talking more about like she's one of the youngest. You thought little kid syndrome type of complaints. On the heels of this letter, you're thinking maybe this was a much larger concern for her. But you basically gave her the old like, when the student is ready, the master will appear spiel about just being patient in who you are, that eventually your destiny will reveal itself. And she just, huffed and puffed and sort of just walked off, into the desert night away from you. You didn't pursue her because she's tempestuous. She's always had a little bit of an attitude. So you didn't think much of it. And she just didn't come home that day or any day for months after.
But I'm aware that she hasn't been around since I saw her last.
Yeah, that's correct. And I maybe did an inappropriate thing in sharing that information with you. That's up to you whether you shared that with the rest of the group, because you guys would have been on a trip alone. So
Yeah, I was just going to say, excuse me.
Geez, Zeke.
I tell everyone what I know.
I said stop moving.
I said stop.
Yeah, I just said stop.
Oh my god, all the
moving.
cute babies. I can't.
Where
He's
you?
trying to put all his friends in the freezer.
I mean,
I
that
understand that.
Keep them on.
Yeah. So are you sharing with the group, Amon?
Yeah, I kind of take some blame for it and say this is all my fault. And I tell the story.
And I'm gonna ask when that was. When did you see her last?
It takes you a moment to sort of like do the internal historical calculation. You think it's got to be at least 6 months, but you know for certain it was less than 7. The river that you guys drank from that night doesn't run during the drought periods, so you know for sure it was somewhere between 6 and 7 months ago.
I'm gonna look at Anya.
And I relay that.
Yes, thank you. I'm gonna look at Anya and say, is that where we start?
That's where we start.
Well, now we have to figure out this business with Hoppy. Do we know how much how indebted he is? Can we just settle with Mar?
How much to buy you, Hoppy?
I've always
Or
wanted
can we-
a bull.
Or can we make an agreement? Because, like, our family has to deal with our family stuff. We cannot.
Well, I think that if you were to offer to buy me, I don't know how much it would cost. I would help you with this. Hopefully to make enough to buy back my family.
Or what can we barter? Like, Mar, I don't. This is your world, Ani.
Let's see what he has to say when he comes.
Can I tend to my wounds?
Sure. We'll be spending a lot of time, I imagine, waiting for this Mar to arrive. You can certainly use this time to take a short rest and spend hit dice if you want.
Well, I'm going to go ahead and, since Hoppy's a little wounded, I forgot he got wounded. I'll cast Healing Spirit on him. And the area, just help everyone heal up.
Okay. What does your Healing Spirit look like?
I didn't know that was an actual spirit. I thought Healing Spirit was just a area effect.
Yeah, but what does that look like?
Oh, okay. Oh,
a
nice
like
green
a burning ring of fire.
There you go. Nice green ring of fire. It's nice and tranquil, relaxing.
Alright, I used a hit die also.
You may not have to. If Healing Spirit is out, it'll heal everybody.
Oh,
Yeah,
nice.
it's everyone in a 60-foot radius, or basically in a room that we're hanging out. Just everything's got a nice green flame on it.
How much are we getting?
It's like I think it's 1d8 per round, but it can last up to 10 rounds. So I imagine everyone will just be healed to full.
Yeah, that's what I was kind of figuring. Since we're all just hanging out in here, waiting for the guy to show up.
Summons a heatless ring of green fire. It smells a bit like spearmint, and as you cross wounded parts of your body into its area, you get this cool balming sensation, sort of like a Vicks Vapo Rub sensation, tingly all over, and you can watch as the wounds are almost like burned. The skin sizzles, but it closes the wounds and leaves you with this cooling sensation on the surface of your skin. Deep inside, your muscles feel less achy and your body overall revitalized.
Nice.
You guys spend another hour or so waiting in this shared, meeting space. This is my last chance to offer you guys any roleplay or discussions that want to take place, any exchange of items, I will give you these sometimes. It's not me telling you you're about to get boned or that I know something you don't know. I just don't want to step on toes with 5 players.
Well, I'm just checking out this really cool mask I found. That nice flaming, silver, skull thing or mask.
Don't put it on. We don't know what will happen.
While everyone's sort of, I guess, following their own pursuits, anywhere from sharpening weapons to test-fitting silver skull masks or flame masks, that's when everybody's keen ears can hear the sound. Go ahead, Mark.
Before we move on, I have a question. You mentioned that
Make check.
yeah, good. You mentioned that the backbones were the backbone looked different. It was fused together and it looked
Mhm.
different. Is that something I would have noticed? Is it something that I could uh, uh, see if we could find a healer that would understand the human body that would be able to give us this information about it?
I'm sure you guys can find a doctor to give you some kind of like an anatomy lesson about this is not what the human spine looks like. But from your, if I didn't narrate it well enough, instead of having like that natural sort of S curve that the spine does, with there being space
Oh,
between
it's more
each of the, it
just
has
straightened out.
fused and become like a straight, almost a perfectly
it.
straight rod.
Okay.
Turned it into the
Um,
club.
Yeah,
know what?
it does. It serves two purposes. It whether intentional or not makes the weapon, it makes the skull and spine kind of a weapon, which may or may not be the intention there. But it would also serve to make sure that whenever the body collapsed, that the pelvic bowl would hit first, and that the spine would stay perfectly erect with the head pointing skyward.
Okay.
What a
Okay.
visual, sir. What a visual.
Okay. No need to do that. Thank you.
While we're waiting for Mar to come, since we're going to be crossing the sands, there are some things that we need to make sure that we all have. There is nothing that I hate more than a fucking scarab. So we need to make sure that we've got the hype.
Why are you even here? You
I
didn't
can
realize.
hide.
we are
Whoa,
in the
Draco! I
desert.
can hide from most things. I can't hide from bugs that eat my flesh. Okay, relax. But we need to make sure that we all have the hibiscus and sage, whatever. We need to make sure that we have day rations to get us through the desert, and I think we should all get a talisman of Ra, because I don't want no snake people eating me. So we need to get some of this shit before we leave town while we're waiting. We could send someone to do this for us because gold, but just my thought.
That's baller.
We could, but we don't know how our plans will be impacted based on the meeting.
So you want to wait? That's smart. It's like you have a brain or something.
I think it would be a good idea.
If we foresee going on a great journey, I literally have the clothes on my back. And if you expect me to carry rations or a backpack, we will need to acquire that. And I do not have any money or anything that I can
Yeah,
sell.
we got you.
Yeah,
We got you.
Dude, we got a pack mule right here. Look at that.
I have this nifty bag.
Happy.
I'm not sure if that's racist or not in a fantasy world.
It might
Yeah,
be.
I think it is. Also, hey, Zach.
Hey, he brought it up.
Oh, good morning.
He brought it
Welcome
up.
to D&D. Andy?
Yeah, we'll we'll need to come up with some type of transportation as well. So we'll acquire all of that stuff when it's time to leave.
Just like every day of the last 10 years for Happy, it starts with some bullshit.
Oh, hey-o.
Oh.
I appreciate
Damn.
you, John.
So our spider senses were tingling.
Yes.
Oh.
Probably Amon hears it first and does his, leap to the window thing, which cues everybody else that something else is happening. You might have heard it, but he always hears it first. It's almost annoying. You join him at the window, though, and you can hear, moving through the desert street, the sound of 100 feet stamping dirt and earth
Oh, no.
in perfect unison. You look out and you can see a conglomeration of town guard and guard from the Catal Arena walking 3 abreast, some 30 people deep. And in the middle of it is a palanquin, a litter being borne by 6 people with a trestle and elaborate velvet drapes. And it comes to a stop just in front of
Mhm.
the Boar's Head meadery.
Renan is going to slip into the wall. Not literally, but you know what I mean. She's wraithing. Goodbye.
Okay.
And real life Michelle is going pee. You're welcome.
We don't need to see that part. The palanquin is set down, and the curtains drawn apart by two different attendants, and Mar, the Draco Malfoy, I believe he was called, from the
Yes.
arena, steps out. He walks into the tavern, and at the door, all of his attendants follow him, and he just, with like two fingers up, just waves them aside, and the entire retinue of guards fill the streets, stand perfectly still at attention, and he enters the tavern alone.
Jeez,
From the
Ani.
upstairs, from the upstairs room, you can hear like the mutterings of a brief conversation, and then you hear one man alone walking up the creaky steps to the second floor meeting space where you guys are located. Mar enters the room with the confidence and vigor you'd expect. He is, by all accounts, handsome. He
So
has a well-built frame that hints at the possibility he may have at one time been a fighter, maybe even a gladiator in Cthulhu himself. But you can tell that like a comfortable life has taken its toll on that impressive form, and each of these major banks of muscle have now just a comfortable, delicate layer of fat over them. You can see the statue of greatness that might have once existed but no longer. His eyes quickly assess all of you the way a warrior's might, but you notice that he's just so pretty, like so handsome. His hair is perfectly coiffed. He's used, lotion to keep his skin soft. He wipes his hands on a handkerchief that he keeps with him now that he's touched the dirty banister on the way up to see all of you. So it's this weird contrast of a very well-built, potentially, murderer of a man who has become this, wealthy owner of a Cthulhu arena who doesn't even like the idea of someone else's germs now. Oni, you know that in some social circles, he's known as Mar the Virile, a nickname that you believe he kind of created and disseminated himself.
I see what you did there.
He likes the he likes the idea of being a ladies' man, and he carries himself as being this very like sensual, sexual person, like a man of opulence and luxury. And as he enters the room, he just kind of waits to be acknowledged. He makes eye contact with you, but does the warrior thing of making sure his back isn't to any one person. He kind of just circles the table, waiting for you to make a statement.
Does he look at anyone in particular, like with a little extra, like,
His eyes seem drawn to Oni. He has only made just very minor attempts to look at each of you, sort of assessing you.
With what I know of him, and based on the fact that I'm a Primus, I imagine we have a pretty deep relationship. Would it be all right for me to like step forward and shake it, like grab his forearm, like shake, or no? I don't know how comfortable we are.
Yes, you are you are familiar. He pays your contracts.
You are
when
his
would fight
familiar.
for him. The only reluctancy you have is that every physical touch is always him looking for a little bit more. He's one of those guys that like leans in for the kiss way too early. Is every touch is the potential invitation, a prelude to more.
Can I scoots him?
Yes, you can scoots him. But he ends up like.
That's not very warrior. Like I will grasp his forearm and say, "Thank you for coming."
Mic check. Can you hear me?
Yep.
Yes.
Okay. Sorry.
He does the super creepy thing of while your wrists are interlocked, he takes his offhand and just gently uses two fingers to caress down the side of your face, parting
I
aside
hate
your
this guy.
golden spun hair. And
I'm just gonna raise one eyebrow.
tells you again that you are as beautiful now as you ever have been to him. But you stand to cost me quite a bit of money, dear sweet Oniara. Tell me, why are we here?
Tell me why there were silver masked weirdos taking over your arena. That was not the fight that we agreed to.
Those were not my doing, and I've seen to it that they've all been destroyed.
Well, and I saw to it that I remained safe along with my fellow fighter out of the care of your goons, since you didn't even have control of your own arena. That's why we are here.
We both know that I never lose control. There was just a moment of abrupt chaos that was dealt with.
By my people, I can't help but notice that your team didn't do anything to stop that.
Do you truly need my protection?
As evidenced by our actions, no, I don't. But it sounds like perhaps you could use mine.
As always, I would happily invite you into my inner circle, into my bedchamber even. You could protect me all night. Like, it is
Okay,
this
who am I
weird
standing next
contrast
to?
of like self-assurance that doesn't match the frame before you. This guy is 2 or 3 inches shorter than you, Oni, but he has the swagger of just this unbelievable, like, Lothario. It is even in your mind, you've known him this long, and there's still just this disconnect of like, how are you this confident? That doesn't make any sense to me. You're creepy and you're weird and you're short and you're handsy, but he has this air about him that is just, it is supremely confident.
Well, and I wouldn't be a successful champion if I didn't play all sides against one another, so of course I'm not actually going to do anything with that. However, I will probably use it to manipulate him to get what I want. So, let's talk about Hoppy. They seemed very interested in my fellow fighter.
Well, everyone's very interested in Hoppy. He's been a great glider, haven't you, Hoppy? Well done! Thrusts his fist in the air. That's why he's worth so much. People come to see the giant bullman gore people.
I'm gonna demur. This is my owner, so I'm not very comfortable talking to him.
That's fair. I'm going to make sure that I always position myself in between him and Hoppy so that they don't have direct access. Michelle wants to go.
Okay, go, Michelle.
Oh, we can't hear you again.
No, I got distracted waving to my child.
Oh.
Sorry.
Oh,
Sorry about that. I love what's happening and I hate Draco Malfoy.
He
But he's
sees you
dreamy.
positioning like, again, little hints that just belie the fact he may have at one point been an impressive fighter.
Mm-hmm.
He notices these micro adjustments that you're making, and he's like, is it truly your job to protect everyone from me? How terrible am I really? He knows that I own him. He knows that he has to pay off his debt. That's just the way of the world. That's how Geb spins.
Let's talk about this debt. How much does he owe you? I have recently encountered an issue that's going to need my attention, and I could use his services.
What do you mean? You can't leave. Our 3 biggest fights of the year are forthcoming. I need you.
Don't worry your pretty little head. I wouldn't miss stealing those purses from you for anything.
I am very glad to hear that. Both that you'll return for our big fights and that you think I'm pretty.
Now, what would it cost for me to take him with me? The work that I need to do would be much faster with his assistance.
Oh, dear sweet Oniara. You know what you could give me.
Give him a kiss.
He said, unfortunately, you know his wealth, his value to me has only grown with each success. Victories, I might add, you're responsible for. You may have priced yourself out of the ability to purchase... What is his name? Happy?
Hoppy.
Well, I'd be quite happy to keep him.
I don't like bonds.
He throws out the figure casually of 2,500 gold to buy
Holy.
Hoppy's contract, lock, stock, and, loaded bull barrel. And tells you that that would be what he considers friend prices for the loveliest friend he has.
And what would it cost to borrow him?
So on the eve of our greatest celebration of Kital, you would like to leave, and I'm making sure I understand this correctly, you would also like to take my most prominent, most well-loved slave gladiator with you. Is this correct?
Well, you could always take his place as the slave gladiator.
Indeed I could, and what a draw it would be. But I'm not very well going to pay myself with my own money. No, not while I have so many slaves willing to fight and die in the pits for me.
This is not one of them. We will
My
come
dear
to an agreement.
I have no doubt of that. However, the men outside guarantee that that situation will almost certainly end in my advantage, as things often do.
How many fights have I won in your arenas?
Dozens. We both know I can only count to 11.
I'll tell you what.
Like, he just is making like a suggestive, almost like micro hip thrust at you. Like, it is just, like, it is so icky, it is so gross, that it's, at this point, it's become cartoonish.
Okay.
He tells you that there's no price on earth he could afford to take such a loss to lose his two greatest gladiators. Who would fight in the dual wielding? Who would fight in the solo gladiator? Who would fight my Primus if you're not going to be around next week?
I am your Primus.
Yes, and I need someone, well, to be completely frank, to lay down and die at your sword, don't I?
And you think that will be Hoppy?
I think at the height of Kital's big season, in celebration of the solstice, that would be one hell of a fight. I could sell out the arena.
Why do these silver-faced freaks want him so badly?
I have no idea who they are. I don't know what they want. I've never seen them before
well,
in my
you
life.
obviously can't stop them.
Oh, but I can. You see, I've already requested the presence of the Yadi for the next 2 weeks. Should they return, they will certainly regret it. In our world, the Yadi are Pharaoh's personal retinue of bodyguards. There's only about 100 of them. They are the most trained, most skilled, most powerful fighters in all of Geb. And the word Yadi means his hand. They are like the enforcement of Pharaoh's will on Earth. And they deal with matters of crisis in the Kingdom of Amun-Ra. And Mar claims to have gotten some of them dispatched to Noonrest to make sure that Kital can happen without interruption in the future. We are approaching the summer solstice, which is when Kital was ritualistically important to the people of Amun-Ra. We're reaching the height of that religious season, where the biggest fights happen, the bloodiest combats, where it has its most significance. This is his, big season. So it's he may not
during this conversation, I'm kind of just making my way around the edge of just kind of, just really subtly trying to flank this guy just to get in a better place in case something goes wrong.
I don't think we could even take this guy on with the amount of people we got outside, guys. I mean, really. Over 100 people out there. This is a boss.
I'm just trying to be safe. This is my nature. I'm trying to just stay in a place of advantage.
You're gonna get us killed.
What if we agree to fight for him?
Yeah, but we have to leave. Unless there's another source of information for Sari, we have to go. We can't stay and fight.
I think, he's, for all of his jokes, for all of his jests, for all of the terrible things he really is, and all of the great things he pretends to be and is not, he has a keen mind. Like, that's how he's come to be, one of the richest men in Noonrest and the leader of Kital here. He sees the significant glances being exchanged and you guys fumbling and the urgency of you wanting to leave, and tells you that if you cannot afford to purchase Hoppy's contract at its now inflated cost, Perhaps you could provide me with a greater spectacle.
We could do a one and done fight, basically.
He says that the people of Noonrest, the biggest draw for them on the Equinox is almost always their bestiarii. But you've already killed his giant scorpion, and he wanted to make it the grandest, most spectacular bestiarii in all of Amon-Ra this year. Perhaps you could assist me in that way.
What kind of creature would you want us to procure for you?
He said, not creature, creatures.
Scarabs, scarabs, scarabs. Giant scarabs.
And almost as if he had anticipated this as a possibility, he pulls a small papyrus parchment from his, man bag satchel and just puts it on the table, and with one gentle index finger slides it across to the opposite side where Oni is standing, having positioned herself between him and Hoppy. And it is a list of animals. The first on that list is an Itaru thresher, a griffin, and 3 dire hyenas.
Oh, thank you.
He says, if you can capture these animals and deliver them to Ptah, we shall have the grandest bestiarii anyone has ever seen. That might replace the loss of Hoppy for a season. He will, of course, return here when all is said and done, and continue to fight for me until his debt is paid off, but that would more than accommodate your absences. What say you?
Fine. I grow tired of you. Go away.
He leans in and tells you that there are other tools of negotiation that he'd be willing to entertain.
I'd rather be eaten by said hyenas.
And I'm just making eye contact with Oni this whole time, just give me the signal and I'm going.
He is not at all deterred by your visible disgust, but tells you that this is an amusing story that one day you'll perhaps will share with your own children.
We'll
tell this to our children, this story.
Personally, but we will make sure that we secure passage for them.
Excellent. You know Ptah. Feel free to check in with him. He'll tell you where they can be found if you don't know, and he'll have cages prepared for them. I'd rather not see most of you anyway. He, bows before you slightly, but his eyes never leave, the midsection of your body. He's, lecherously sort of eyeing you up and down.
I hate him.
This guy is so gross.
I hope I get to kick him in his nuts someday, really hard.
Did he leave the room already, or is he still there?
No, he's still there.
He's ready to leave, as long as he hasn't gotten a firm commitment. You said that you would rather do that than be eaten by hyenas or something, but do you agree to his terms?
We agree to the terms, but I will need documentation to bring with us that shows that Hoppy is free to assist us in our journey.
He says that will be, he'll have the slave master draw up papers now so that he may travel freely, but know that he must return before next summer solstice. That is the length and the breadth of the excusal he'll be given.
Very well.
Okay. With that, he departs the same, just giant pomp and circumstance. As he
Did
exits,
anyone else notice a spark between those two?
I
mean,
imagine the whole
damn.
time
Sorry.
Renan was behind
Tale as
him,
old as
but
time.
still kind of sheltered and just going.
Yep, that's exactly what I was doing. Yep, to you, and being oh God, no.
Yeah.
This little man thinks he can handle all of that? No. Step down.
when he climbs aboard the palanquin again, just before he's hoisted aloft, assuming that you're still looking, he gently blows a kiss to the window that faces east where he
I hate
arrived
him.
from.
I'm not looking.
I could shoot him right now
Hey,
with
hey,
an
Arnie,
arrow.
take a
I
look at
could
this.
shoot him
I'm standing at the window and I just close the
through
blind.
the eye.
Come
I'm
on,
very good at
Brandon.
that.
And he just takes off. The retinue starts marching away again. In 2 or 3 minutes' time, they're gone, except for the dust cloud that they kick up as they walk across the streets. Yeah. So you've been given a task to capture and cage an Itairu thresher, which is the largest of the crocodiles that grow along the Itairu River, a griffin, and a trio of dire hyenas.
We haven't gone to
A
Tom
tall
Ray
order.
Tall yet to tell us where to find these things.
Yeah, we gotta go there.
Well,
I
it's
hate
a
that
good
this
thing
is
you guys
just
have a
wasting my
druid
time.
here to help.
It is. So we should probably put together a shopping list, and I'm gonna give Hoppy the opportunity to stay in an actual safe house if he'd prefer not to be out and about while we're gathering our supplies. Once we have the paperwork, it will be fine and we won't be harassed at all, but I would understand if he prefers to lay low until then.
I need to fit everything.
That's true.
Okay, sorry.
Everything's gonna need to be custom sized, so I need to go shopping.
Yeah, big
Okay.
boy.
Thrasher, 3 dire hyenas, and what else?
A griffin.
Yeah, duh. Who could forget that?
No doy.
The director one?
Okay,
Oh, sure.
sorry. There's chatter on my end.
That's okay.
Chit cheddar.
So we need to go to Ptah and get all of the information about those animals. In addition, we need the cages, and I'm assuming that they will provide us with some type of vehicle or cart to bring those materials along with us. And I'm also going to request that Ptah send along a few handlers that we can let return the creatures once they're done. I mean, if they have excess slaves, I'm sure that they can provide those.
Do we have to get these things before we get Hoppy? Or is
No.
he kind of just letting us
He can come
go with
us to
In
procure
good
them.
faith.
Yeah.
Oni has such a strong reputation there and has a lot to lose potentially
I
by
know.
burning this bridge, and I think he knows that. So
No, yeah,
there is good faith between them, and the fact that he thinks one day he's gonna get jiggy with that.
That's why he can never get jiggy with this. Otherwise, he would stop wanting it. So we just gotta
Maybe.
string him along.
Are we heading straight to Ptah then? Is there anything else you guys would rather do in the intervening time, or do we talk to Ptah first and then
I'd
make a
like
plan
to
from
start
there?
there because if we have to hire people to come with us to return the animals, I'm sure that we can come up with a route to get us where we're going to check in with Sari that would have stops along the way to procure those animals. And I'd like to make sure that we can send them back without a bunch of back and forth so that we can get on with our mission as quickly as possible.
Not used to having a retinue with us. Jeez.
Not used to
Didn't
having
realize you got so big over here, Ani.
to capture animals. I'm kind of a big deal.
All right.
And I don't mind spending this Yahoo's money.
You move back to the city center where the Catal Arena is, but you use the back exit, and along the side there's a long run of grazing fields, horse and camel pastures, and a large barn where some of the more exotic animals are stored and kept. There are several people shoveling manure and feeding animals from grain silos, but inside the barn you find Ptah, who is the Catal Keeper of Beasts. He is a dwarf with a long beard and bald head. His exposed skin is sun-darkened and battle-scarred. He wears a filthy, once white tunic with blue accents and trim all the way around it, but it's now just filthy. But you could tell at one point maybe it meant a lot to him, or it was a status symbol, and he just has never removed it. And as you approach, he blurts out a few swear words in Dwarven.
I greet him as a friend. I assume that we've crossed paths quite a bit.
Yeah, you actually spent your first night at Noonrest in his barn. They
First
weren't
date.
sure whether a Minotaur was a bull or a man, So do you get slave accommodations or do you get bestiarii animal cage? It was a confusing evening for everybody.
That's what she said.
He recognizes you and he tells you that he's been made aware of your agreement and asks how he can help.
I'm gonna ask him about the scorpion.
He said, you're the one that killed him? 'Twas a pity.
Yeah.
I love that beastie.
How'd he get loose? How'd he get in the arena?
He was queued up for tomorrow's bestiarii prelude fight. Someone killed his handlers and let him free. I suspect one of those silvery boys.
Have they been giving you trouble here?
I've never seen them before today.
Well, we have to procure some new animals for you to replace the one that was killed.
I understand you're going to get me a thresher. I don't know how you're going to do that.
Where are they?
He tells you that in the deepest parts of the Atairu River, where it, might be hundreds of feet deep, in the marshiest areas, the largest threshers exist, and he's almost certain Mar means for you to capture a giant. But all of them are incredibly dangerous. The thresher is set aside from other crocodiles because of their enormous size. Instead of being 10 to 12 feet at several hundred pounds, you're talking about a crocodile that has armor plated skin, bony ridges around its face and mouth, that is almost 2 tons at 30 feet long.
Master negotiator over here.
They are widely known as man-eaters, and he believes that recently a particularly large one has been going after small ships. There have been several merchant vessels that have been lost in their entirety. Something ate not only the ship and its people, but the cargo as well.
Does he have any? Do you have any hints on how to capture one?
He tells you. He says in Dwarven, and I think only Oni will smile because she understands. Makes it it's a slurred, like, misaphorism in Dwarven, but basically says that there is no advice. He wouldn't even know where to begin to tell you how to kill it, let alone capture it.
Fortunately, this is not going to be something for the fighters. This is going to have to be something for our brains to have to figure out. So he
tells you that it's a crazy, it's a monstrous beast that will do everything in its power to eat you, and that its most notable method of doing that is thrashing. It will take you deep underwater and roll you until it's rent you asunder or until you've drowned. The thresher is not to be tangled with lightly. It won't politely come into a cage, and they're clever. You won't trick it easily. He honestly thinks you'll have no choice but to subdue it.
Will he be able to heal it if we have to?
He nods. That's primarily his job here, is to take care of the animals.
And provide
what about the griffin? What about a griffin? Where would we get a nice ass griffin there?
A nice ass griffin.
Nice ass griffin.
He tells you that there is locally a area of the desert far to the south in the Dawn Sands, a known griffin eyrie. There's a bunch of sand-washed cliffs that jet high into the sky. It's about 30 miles from here. It'll be 2 days travel, a day there and a day back.
Nice.
But that is it is a well-known humans avoid this area because griffins eat lambs, they eat other birds, and they'll eat people are their favorite food. Anything with a high fatty content will definitely attract them.
And
tells you that they're consummate aerial predators and you want to avoid them if you can, but you can't. He laughs.
All right, how about the hyenas?
He shakes his head at that one and says he's been trying to procure dire hyenas for the event for years, tells you that there's a very important distinction between hyena and dire hyena. The hyenas are ubiquitous; they're everywhere, especially outside of Noonrest. But they're slightly more evolved, slightly more monstrous cousin, the dire hyena, are a rarity. He's not sure you could find one, let alone three, that you may have bit off more than you could chew on that one. He does tell you that there are nomadic tribes that keep hyenas as like hunting dogs, as trained beasts, and it is not uncommon for them to have like animal auctions. But he's never seen a dire hyena among them. But you could certainly check with them. Otherwise, in the wastes to the far west, well past the borders of Noonrest, well past the boundaries that this Nomarch oversees, heading dangerously close to like no man's territory, there are vast expanses of dens where hyenas will just dig holes in the desert. They are nighttime scavengers that will come out at dark and feed, but their hunting range is huge. So he tells you it will take a lot. It would take a hunter of enormous skill to track them down effectively and quickly. He doesn't know what kind of time frame you were given, but that's going to be the hard one.
Just a year.
Amon's got us. All right.
Does he have any suggestions for a hunter that might be able to help us?
He tells you that there's a work board at the exchange in the center of town. You can look to hire people there.
But he doesn't have any anybody he works with regularly.
No, he tells you that.
I think I got this.
Okay.
I chime in and I chime in with just a quiet confidence. Like, we don't need that.
Okay.
He points over his shoulder to a giant, what looks like a giant bull's skull mounted on the door, and he says, "Last man I trusted to do a job like that got run over by a Taurus." Known to be like a large stampeding animal. Apparently lost a hunter friend tracking one down. Maybe that same one.
So we were told that you would provide us with cages for these creatures. And I'm assuming that those cages will also come with some means to transport them during our travels.
He was told, he shrugs, looking around, only to prepare for their arrival. He says, looking over at a wheelbarrow that's got bags of feed in it, he just tips the feed over and hands you the handles to this large
Easy there,
wheelbarrow.
Happy. Easy there.
I assume the position.
And this is not going to work. What are we supposed to put them in?
He tells you that he empathizes with your position and he wants very much for you to be successful, but he gives you the dwarven euphemism for "not my fucking problem."
Cool.
It is, though.
Uh,
Mar told us that you would give us cages, so I'm happy to take my request to him if you're not able to fill it.
He said, "We both know you don't want to see him any more than I do. You can take the cages. They're wrought iron, weighing half a ton apiece. You're welcome to them. They don't have wheels. This dead cart is the only thing I have that rolls. You can purchase a wagon, maybe even someone to push or carry it." He eyes Happy all the way up to the tips of his horns.
Happy will.
If you need that, if you need that sort of thing, you're welcome to my wheelbarrow if you want it.
All right.
He goes back to his work shoveling stuff, and you can hear him mutter in Dwarven that when you make a deal with the devil, everyone burns.
Not wrong. Do you have any slaves that tend to your animals that could join us to return the animals to you once we've captured them?
He says to you that all of his best employees are currently engaged preparing for the bestiarii.
What about your worst employees?
Yeah.
He strokes his thick, dark beard and just, like in a brutal, deep guttural, "Gaffon!"
Gaffon.
And you wait for 10, 20 seconds almost before this stuttering, lanky boy comes scooting in, nearly falls over the 5 of you as he's like trying to reach his master quickly. Doesn't say excuse me, like is unaware that he's like tripping over people. He's wearing just kind of a loincloth and like a sun hat. And he is just covered head to toe in what you hope to God is just dirt and mud. But he's here, and Ptah asks him where his tools are, and he looks around and looks down, and then looks at all of you, and like you can tell he has no idea. Like this young boy has misplaced some very important tools, and you can tell this is not the first time they've had this conversation. And he says, "Meet your newest employee. His name is Geffen." And he just turns to you and says, "Oh, thank you, masters. Thank you for having me."
All right.
And then just
Geffen.
like slack-jawed, just waits for orders.
He might be more a liability than an asset.
Does he know how to take care of the animals?
He's the worst employee. Probably not the best.
Charitably, Ptah says he's still in training.
No, we
But
don't want
he's got
him.
a strong back, and he's got no quit in him.
No.
I've encountered a number of lesser off souls. You can't fake spirit, so we'll just see how this goes.
Again, thank you, mistress, thank you. Will we be fed?
Oh, buddy.
Yes.
Yes.
Someone will feed you.
Oh, thank you, mistress, thank you.
You might be fed to the Thrasher, however. All right.
He will have served his purpose.
He just smiles, as the gods will it.
Oh, God.
We'll be back with proper carts for the cages. We should probably go and see if we can procure Happy's paperwork from Mar. I'm sure he's had plenty of opportunity to put that together. And then hit the trade area for supplies. And potentially to hire some extra bodies. And carts.
Well, we also don't have to go for the animals right away, right? I mean, we can get your sister, then after we get your sister, and then, focus on this mission. I mean, really.
I mean, you're so cute for thinking that is what's going to happen, but
yeah,
we're going to have to do all of these things at the same time. Because there's no way we're just going to go find Sorry.
So
I want that to be a thing.
In what order are we looking at completing these tasks, like map-wise? Can you pull up the map so that we can look at it? In Roll20?
Yes, I think the map is just a handout, though.
Yeah, there is a handout.
To a page. If we all just look at the handout together.
Yeah.
Where are we in comm?
Okay.
We're on comms, yeah. Oh, no. Yeah.
Map, yeah.
So if you look at Heliopolis, the small little town to the southwest of it, that little brown spot, is where you are.
Okay.
And where is the location of the last hunting trip that Amon and Sari took?
They would have been to the southwest of Abydos, somewhere between the Mirror Dunes and Abydos.
Okay. So we're heading in that direction. In what order will we encounter the location for the animals?
So the river. The giant Atairu River runs south to north through all of Amon-Ra, but like the places where it's widest, so basically somewhere due directly west of your position, is the best hunting ground to try to find a thresher.
Okay.
To the 180 degrees the opposite direction, if you were to walk into the desert space between Heliopolis and Dam Vajdu, is where you would likely find the Griffin Eyrie that Ptah was describing to you. And then just outside of the sprawling sands north of Abydos is the hyena hunting grounds, where that nomadic tribe trains and barters hyenas is what Pata was discussing, but literally anything to the west of the green area on the Atairu is a prime location to find hyenas of all sizes and shapes.
Mhm. So I say we do. This is my 2 cents. Griffin, Thrasher, hyenas. Sorry. Let's just get this shit over with.
Yeah, I think so.
I mean, you can disagree with me. That's just my 2 cents.
I just care about Sorry. I don't care about this guy over here, though. It's like...
I know. I know, but we have to. We don't want to, owe this guy anything more than we already do. I hate him, so we've got to kind of play by his rules.
And if
Or
we
we're
can do both, then that's probably worth it. If we can kill 2 birds with 1 stone. I don't want to delay our trip to get Sorry. Okay, so Griffin first,
I think so.
and then Thresher, and then hyenas.
I think so.
And that puts us at the hunting area.
Well, yeah, we'd be north of it, but then we could just move south.
Okay. All right. So we will need carts large enough to carry the cages.
I think we're going to have to get 1 beast at a time, because I don't think we're going to be able to carry 4 large ass cages.
Well, and remember, it's 3 hyenas, so that's got to be a pretty large one there, or 3 separate cages for those.
But we have to have at least 2 of the cages with us so that we can move on ahead while the Griffin is being returned and start working on capturing the Thresher. While
so we can come back to town the other direction.
And there's other, towns and stuff nearby, villages.
I think if we're going to go after the Griffin, we can just take 1 cage and 1 cart, and then the rivers on the other side of the, we can drop off the Griffin.
Since we'd be
drop off Griffin,
heading back that way anyway. Okay.
Yeah. Thing for the Thrasher, we pick up another one.
Let's just see how much we get our asses kicked trying to subdue a Griffin, and then if we're still alive, then we can talk about this shit.
Okay.
Let's not get ahead of ourselves.
The Griffin's the easy one.
I can slip in and out of a crowd. I can't fight beasts very well. I'm a teenager.
We got this.
Okay. So we're going to rent a cart?
Yes.
And buy supplies.
This is the town square at Noonrest. This is like the merchant's quarters. The square building at the center is the exchange. That's like a multi-city-wide organization that puts together contractors and people looking to pay for jobs. It's like a help wanted board. Only the exchange guarantees the job gets done by the people who accept their contracts. If you need to hire someone for any reason, the exchange is like the generally understood best way to go about doing that. They have a board where you can post either we have money and need a job done, or you can post your sort of resume looking for work. Across from that, with the green trellis, is the store owned by Meek the Meager called Surviving the Sands, a outfitters. That is the closest shop that will likely have something like what you're talking about for sale. You guys tell me what you want, and I'll tell you how much it costs and where to get it.
I'd like to get outfitted for just travel, backpack, food, stuff like that.
Probably want a weapon or 2.
Well, I've got the greatsword,
the silver staff,
and the club.
Horns. Just
and my horns, yeah.
In general, a body.
I'm also good with a sword and shield, a long sword and shield, and if we're going after beasts, it would probably be where we're trying to subdue them. It would probably be better to be using a shield that I can, to protect myself a little bit. So maybe a sword and long sword and shield as well. Would that be something I could gather from the gladiator pit, Jen?
I'm sorry. Yeah, I'm gonna say yes. I'm gonna say that given Oni's position as Primus, you have like your own personal, set of gear that you keep with you, and then you have like the locker room, if you will, of the Kital pit. And I think no one would question you going into the locker room to check on supplies. I don't think anyone would bat an eye at that. So I think easily you could have a longsword and shield mark.
Okay. And then just the standard bedroll backpack, all that type of stuff.
The meager merchant will sell you the full character starting kit for 20 gold. That includes 5 days of food and water, a backpack that contains all the things you would need, and a bedroll, as well as traveler's clothes.
Can we get some type of poison that'll make the animals go to sleep? Some type of.
I'm thinking like rope, stuff to make a trap, a snare, maybe even a net, and like sleeping potions.
Well, I have 10 feet of hemp rope myself.
Yeah, everybody should have rope. Yeah. Michelle's asking for a break. Can we? Is everybody cool if we take a 2-3 minute break?
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
All right. See you guys back in a few minutes.
my god, look at how cute you are. Why? I love it. He's sad he doesn't have a beanie. All right, I'll get you one for Christmas. Well, I guess your birthday is coming up. I could get it for you for your birthday. Mm-hmm. I believe that. Do it. Okay. All right, so we have picked up all of the basic supplies. Happy's going to raid the armory at the gladiator arena, but I did pay the 20 gold for the basic supplies, food and water and all that kind of good stuff for him. Do we want to buy those items from the handout? I did recognize the word fuck. Yes. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'll be buying them as well. Mm-hmm. I'm gonna go up. I have 10 right now. I'm gonna go up to 20 because I'd like to have extra just in case we encounter anyone who needs it, so it's not coming out of ours. How much do I pay for that? Who can conjure things? That is true. Too spicy. Okay, so how much for the food? Okay. I I have it. I have it up. So it's 3 for the raw, um, talisman of raw, and 2 for the apothecary charm.
Well, maybe it's on sale today.
I will buy yours. Yeah.
Or maybe he spent it.
Or he may have spent it, yeah.
Then you have 3 make.
Yeah. Yeah. We took care of Hoppy's stuff.
The outfitters here at the Meager Merchant will also be able to, if you guys want to buy extra rope, actual traps, or just the material components to make some kinds of things like that, the tools, like a shovel to dig a hole or something, we can buy that stuff here. The question about poisons or
Sedatives.
sedatives, potions of subduals, that kind of thing, that is outside of his purview, and he encourages you to visit the second reason people come to Noonrest, which is the Jade Sisterhood. They are an
Hmm.
all-female-owned business of apothecaries and elixir mistresses.
Let's do it. Mm-hmm.
If he wants more, though,
He wants
yeah,
all the rope.
you can buy 100 feet of rope and some like basic, shovel, pickaxe, um, hatchet, and a knife for 1 gold. So you've got some basic tools and 100 feet of rope.
No, but that's on my list to buy from the sisterhood place. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Let's go.
I like how I didn't say those words, and somehow those are the words that are being said now.
And you know that they must be.
Ryan.
Mm-hmm.
Are we done? Are we done here at the town square and the Meager Merchant, ready to move to the Jade Sisterhood?
Mm-hmm. Hoppy, do you need any other items? You're good.
It's super calm and placid as you walk in. There's a sign that politely asks you to remove your shoes. Um, Inside there's music being played. It sounds almost like a sitar, very quiet, but it seems to come from everywhere. You see no one playing the instrument, but it's just sort of omnipresent in this space. And a middle-aged woman with slightly graying hair and an eye patch stands behind a desk where she's measuring fluids, some that are boiling next to her and others are being carefully measured as she passes the fuels. She welcomes you to the Jade Sisterhood, introducing herself as Neat, NIT.
Neat. I would like to procure some healing potions, please. Healing elixirs.
She says, just now is a critical moment. If you'll be silent. Something, the liquid that's boiling in the cauldron is like, it has reached what you would call a rapid boil now from like a medium boil, and it starts to randomly turn some colors, and you can tell she's just expectantly waiting for it to do something. And there's a
Well, perhaps we can help you keep it by making some purchases. Healing elixirs, please. And anything else that you might recommend for a long journey through the desert.
How about an elixir of? Oh, that's an interesting request. She says that she is only a level 2 apothecary, so she's only authorized to sell you the following items, and she'll show you her like for sale board.
Potion of animal friendship could be helpful. Perhaps our ranger friend wants one of those to befriend animals. Mm-hmm.
She tells you desultory distillation is what I've wasted my whole fucking morning brewing. She goes on to explain that distilling Heka into liquid form is challenging. It is sometimes unpredictable. It is not always exactly what we hoped for. And occasionally, we waste all morning making not what we sought out to make. That is this. And she holds up a purple lined, beautifully ornate glass bottle. But she says, this is chaos in a bottle. It is drinkable random
Is this price in gold pieces or silver pieces?
in gold pieces.
Ooh.
She chuckles that you had to ask.
Yeah.
Two potions of animal friendship and one of water breathing syndrome. Uh, she like is making inventory notes on her slate and leans in and tells you that she's never seen you come into the store before. Are you new in town? She asks if you think you're likely to come back around this way. She's she bends at the hips, leaning over the counter. She could think of some reasons you might want to come back.
Get us that discount.
She says, and my product is even better. She like just taps you on the nose and says that she hopes so. And you can't tell whether she's sweet on you or whether she's just really bad at math, but asks you for 300 gold pieces. She asks if you would like them in a bag or if you plan to be using them quickly. She goes, is it a gift? For a wife or a girlfriend? Because there is no wife or girlfriend?
I'm glad I'm not the only one getting hit on by creepers.
She speaks to a person that's not standing next to her about how much she loves men of mystery, and she's gonna get in so much trouble. She asks if anyone else is wanting any of the potions.
What is the difference between a potion of healing, a potion of greater healing, and an elixir of health?
One is greater than the other, and one is uh, mechanically a
Sorry.
potion of healing will restore 2d4 plus 2 hit points. The potion of greater healing will restore 4d6
I don't have enough gold to buy Hoppy and I both one of the greater. So I'm gonna buy one of the potions of healing for each of us since we're the frontline fighters and most likely to need them. And can you give me the stats for the potion of healing again? It's 4d4? 2d4. Sorry, I like to put the thing +2. Okay. And I'm getting one of the desultory distillations just because I like Chaos in a bottle. And that's all my money. And Marco, add the potion of healing to your inventory. Okay. Yep. And we haven't considered whether we want the potion of poison. Okay. Yep. Gonna need to make some money. Mm-hmm. May we need that for, like, resistance to heat in the desert? Mm. Interesting. Maybe put 2 of the potions of animal friendship and 1 of the water breathing. Mm-hmm. Yep, I have 16 gold left. So we could go buy that board and see if there are any jobs available that are in the areas that we're going to be to make money to replenish our stores. And we're going to have to go there to hire a carriage anyway, so.
perception, needs to be tested. She points at Hoppy. He looks awfully stout and unlikely to explode.
You want to get something thrown at you that could hurt just a little?
Or not.
I'll volunteer.
Whoa. What are we getting out of this? Let's not volunteer until we know what she's offering.
She takes like a rolled stack of gold coins out from underneath the counter and places it down there. You know that this like rectangular, looks like a small coffin is the way it's designed, like a sarcophagus coffin, contains 50 gold coins. It's sets of 25 by 2 in the sarcophagus. It's not an uncommon way to like transfer large sums of currency because they're easily stackable. But she offers, bam, on the counter, 50 gold
There you
for
go.
Hoppy to test.
Any complaints?
It's your call. Just one.
This is how I can pay people back, so I will do it.
She hands you the stone cauldron beside her that she had poured the failed boiling purple fluid into. It has cooled, but still is quite hot. But like like hot coffee or hot tea warmth. And she just winks at you with her only eye, and tells you bottoms up.
Look.
Please
Roll
make
it.
him tiny. Please make him tiny. Please make him tiny.
Roll a 12-sided die. Why would you put that out there?
Because that would be so funny. Be using like one of those shrinking things, like shrinking toys from WoW, where you become itty bitty bitty.
Oh, interesting.
We got a 6. Don't do that with your hand.
Do we get to see what the options were before you reveal
No.
what actually
No.
happened?
Absolutely not.
No.
No, absolutely.
No way.
Um,
No way.
Hoppy, the giant minotaur man, you turn to your friends, your newly made friends, and your longtime Kital companion, and putting on a brave face because it was a little hot. Like perhaps you shouldn't have chugged the whole thing because it was boiling 3 minutes ago. Like that was probably a mistake. You can feel that sort of hotness in your chest a little bit, but you're holding back that one, ooh, it's too hot tear. Just you just don't want to appear weak to these guys, and there's like a brief moment where you can feel it sort of navigating through your upper digestive tract, like, ooh, is it gonna do something? It's like a tingling sensation. And then nothing. You turn back to her with your hands on your hips, striking like a heroic pose. Either I'm invincible or this potion did absolutely nothing. And as soon as you start to say the word nothing, you watch in horror as Happy turns to stone.
Ooh.
Oh shit.
Undo it.
He never looked so chiseled in my life.
Is it at least a heroic pose?
Oh, it is. Hands on the hip. You look quite stylish, very, very masculine.
Excellent.
You are cut, so this lasts for a while. As you look at Neat for like an explanation, she just gives you the wait a minute, just wait. And she takes like one step back and goes, "Oh yeah, I would step back."
Okay.
The first change you see are the 2 slits in his helmet. His eyes begin to glow red, an effect you've seen once before. And then hundreds of little micro cracks begin to appear along this stony carapace until eventually they
duck behind
all
the counter.
crack and they just boom shatter outwards like he was instantly molting a thin layer of granite skin. They explode like small munitions everywhere, breaking a few glass ampules here and there, breaking a potion, putting a small dime-sized hole in a window, and leaving behind just like a room full of 10 pounds of gravel just on the ground below him.
Nice.
You lost your bulk.
Well, it looks like your potion worked. Give us our 50 gold coins and we'll be on our way, because that was chaos.
She says, almost, and she says, come and collect your reward, and pushes the coffer of money towards Hoppy on the counter. And as Hoppy goes to collect his chips, she puts her right hand on his hand, stopping it from moving, and draws a dagger from her left and just rakes it across his forearm as hard as she can. The dagger just skits across your skin, Hoppy, but everywhere that the steel touches it, it turns granite for a moment and just sparks flash off of it. And once
Whoa.
the dagger has passed, there is no damage to your arm.
Nice.
I guess I'm not
6 is
getting
the
the blood
best
from him.
number.
How long does that last?
Quick, let's find something to kill. I am invincible.
No, seriously, how long does that last? That could really help with the Thresher and the Griffin and the hyenas.
And the people trying to get his blood.
She just shrugs and says, "That is not a thing I can tell you."
That's a great question. These Jade Sisterhood ladies, you never know what you're going to get.
They have this well-earned reputation for being some of the best alchemists on Geb. People come from all over, but you can tell that you found someone who is sort of the black sheep of their organization. Maybe has a little more fun than she ought to, but her talents are obviously, up
There.
to par. Just her attitude might be somewhat lacking.
I'm going to look at Amon and be like, she's a good time. You might need to come back for this.
Don't put your dick in crazy. Yeah, she asks if anybody else has any other pressing business. She's gonna put this in a desultory distillation vial to be sold.
Did he just drink it all?
What's left.
Oh,
So
okay.
I guess also technically it's got backwash.
So I had wanted to buy one of those. Can I buy that specific one instead to give to Hoppy for a future engagement? Since we know specifically what that one does.
She tells you that you are absolutely free to purchase this, and you can even just keep the stone vessel that it's in if you'd like. But that each drink will be different.
Oh, each drink is different, not each batch.
Correct. That the imbibe. This is just chaotic essence of Heka. It is the weave of magic that permeates the world, and you're just the potion is that unlimited potential until you imbibe it, and then its potential is known.
Then I will stick with my backwash free one. Thank you.
Fair enough.
All right, so now Hoppy has 50 gold in his inventory.
Yep.
All right, we
Make
may
sure
need
you write
that
that
for
down.
a cart rental. All right, to the job board. Wait, what is it called?
It's called the Exchange.
I'm adding that to our notes. The Exchange.
Sorry, I needed a second to move it. Are you guys seeing it now?
Ooh.
Yep.
Hey. Stolen goods. I mean, we do know that we like the Jade Sisterhood.
Yeah, they're pretty cool.
Mhm.
But then we got some death coming up too. There you go. 500 gold. That's in the Sunrise Dunes.
And we did get 2 of the amulets of Ra, unless everyone got one. I know that Brendan and I for sure did.
No, I didn't.
Okay.
I didn't have him.
I got one.
So that's 3 of us that can. Sunrise Dunes.
I didn't worry about the whole scary bug so much. It didn't bother me.
Alright. So we are committing to doing these if we accept them based on how the exchange works. Is that correct?
Right.
Yeah, the Exchange is a contract-based organization, and they are there to make sure that both parties are satisfied. They have like their own enforcement wing. Basically, if you commit to this quest, if you accept the contract, you are bound to complete it, or you pay back whatever the contract was for. So if you take the 200 gold contract from the Sisterhood and you fail to complete it or cannot complete it, you have to pay them 200 gold and make nothing.
That's interesting. But we
Where's
don't
the
know
Sunrise
that
Dunes?
We have to go and ask.
The Sunrise Dunes are to the they're on the
They're
They
not
are
on the
not-
map.
they are not on the map. They are not far from where you're going for the Griffin. They are like where you're going is. Hold on, let me find my notes. You're heading to Dustwind Gorge is where the reported Griffin Aeries are. But if you were to wind all the way through the gorge and travel a day farther, the Sunrise Dunes are there. It's this vast not oasis. It's this vast desert that shines particularly brilliantly white when the sun rises, hence its name. But in that space, there are a number of nomadic peoples, as well as some people who tend a well there that are members of the Noonrest city and fall under the protection of the Nomarch of Noonrest. And they have recently suffered several attacks from what they're claiming, according to this contract, as a Serpapard, which is, sort of like saying the Chupacabra ate my wildlife or my livestock, and I need you to come kill it. Like,
Okay.
Something is definitely killing things, but in your real life, day to day, a Serpapard is a creature of legend.
Gotcha. So basically, that one sounds more like we ain't going to get the reward because there's no such thing mentality.
It is. The only note that I would make is that it has been sponsored by the Yadi, the Hand of the Pharaoh, and the hand sponsorship there means that there's no penalty for failure to complete, and the Yadi pays double the bounty if you're successful. So that mission is worth potentially 1,500 gold. 1,000 from the Yadi sponsorship and 500 from the Nomarch here.
Well, then, I mean, it's worth giving it a
What's
try.
one more monster?
You're
Yeah.
muted again, but yeah, I kind of agree, especially if it doesn't take us super out of the way. And then
Just another day's travel.
recovered stolen goods, we have a stealthy stealth in the party that would make it pretty easy to.
And we have people that like to dispatch justice as we see fit. So
We do, so I'm not opposed to that, but this doesn't have a location, so we should inquire with order about the location.
which we go back to where we were. We got her in.
Hey, Amon, go ask your girlfriend. Neat.
Okay, well, definitely. The problem is, though, if we fail these, we owe a lot of money.
Not the Serpapard one is what John was
Right.
saying.
So let's not do the 200 gold at this time.
Okay.
Let's just do the killing the lizard people. And can you please go get your raw talismans?
Yeah.
What's the word?
Talisman is a word.
Raw. So while they're getting that,
We're-
I'll go buy two more, because 3 of us.
We don't need that.
I'll go
I'm
buy
gonna-
two.
I'm gonna quote
provide.
you on that, Draco.
Okay.
It's
I
who
don't
we
need that.
Keep your
Mm.
Well,
gold.
that's nonsense.
Keep your gold happy. I'm gonna run over and grab them and come back, and then give them to Draco.
Paranoid
Um,
much?
It makes her happy, so just take it.
I like to follow the rules. I don't like to just blow my body up into fire.
It doesn't bother me. Fire.
All right.
What if you get unalived? Then
I got things for that.
we have to take care of ourselves.
So we're taking the Serpapard quest, and then we need to hire a chariot, or not a chariot,
Wagon.
a wagon.
I got
Okay.
5 gold. I can add to it. The fund.
Geffen will tell you that you don't want to hire a wagon through the exchange, even if such a contract existed. That's what if somebody damaged your wagon. He tells you that there are farmers here that maybe we can make a better deal with.
Oh, perfect. See, he's already helping.
Thanks, Geffen.
if you follow his lead, will shortcut the negotiation process. There are, in fact, 2 farmers at market here who came with a full cart of produce to sell and have an empty cart now that they'd be willing to lend to you for a fair price. One guy tells you that you can buy the cart outright. He doesn't even want to take it home with him if he doesn't have to, for 10 gold. And another guy says that he'll rent it out to you for 2 gold per day as long as you return it to his homestead when you're done.
Or does
Just
this-
buy it.
Yeah, does this include
10 gold.
the animals to pull it?
It's a hand-drawn cart.
Oh. How are we going to put a giant crate for animals in a hand-drawn cart?
It's like an 8x12 cart. The cage will fit on it, it just requires some muscle to move. On wheels,
Hoppy.
you can move quite a bit of weight.
Alright.
We got Hoppy. We got some muscle.
It wouldn't take a lot of work to buy a horse or 2 also and just outfit, the cart to be pulled by horses if you'd rather.
How much would a horse cost?
Between
mean-
25 and 50 depending on its breeding.
How about a mule or a camel? Would they be cheaper?
I mean, just pack mules go for 10 gold apiece. Those are much cheaper.
See, Happy, you're at least 10 gold.
Yeah.
Yay.
I'll go ahead and pay for the cart.
Okay.
If you want to take that from my stash.
And Happy will get the pack mule. I don't like the idea of having him tied up with the cart in case we encounter trouble on the road.
Well, he won't be tied up
As a
there.
frontline
He'll be
person.
with us.
I'm just saying, it could be his face or your face that they hit first. So.
How are we
And-
buying things? Because according to math, most of us just spent our gold.
I still have money.
And Geffen,
Had the time for that, and if
I got
Happy
discounts
has-
for being sexy.
Mm.
If Happy has
Can Geffen
50.
handle 2 pack mules? And do we need to buy any additional food for them?
We have food.
No. Geffen tells you that they'll eat off the land, like he will. As long as he's allowed to eat. Are we allowed to eat, sir?
This poor kid.
Yeah,
Oh,
yes, we're
jeez.
allowed to eat.
Also, Master, I've been holding my water all morning. When do we get to take a break?
Geffen, please, you let us know when you need to take a break, and we will make it happen. You don't have to wait to be given permission. You need to.
Or if you have to go to the bathroom, just go to the bathroom.
Yeah.
Thank you, mistress. I've been holding my water all day, and he just goes to the corner of the building and just urinates everywhere as though he's grown up his whole life in a barn.
Okay, we're gonna have to work on this.
Oni, we really needed another animal. I hate him. He's just as bad as your Draco Malfoy fucking master.
He just doesn't know any different. Give him a chance.
He helps you load the supplies you've purchased onto the empty wagon, and is happy leading the 2 pack mules, and you guys are underway.
We're back
Nope.
to Pataz.
I would like to pickpocket some people.
Oh, sorry.
Yep. Brendan's gonna make some money.
2 things I
No,
need from you.
no.
First, no.
Yes, I'm sorry. Keep going.
The first thing is a perception check. We'll see what if this is
If I
indeed a target-rich
perceive-
environment.
Come on, dice. Oh, wait. I'm sorry.
I am.
I'm
too.
sorry.
5.
I don't know why my advantage was on, but it is fixed now. So 5. So I perceive nothing. Cool.
You don't see any right off the bat easy marks. There's nobody counting their money in the open, or a loose or an unattended card or a loose purse string. There's none of the obvious low-hanging fruit. But you're quite skilled, and there are lots of people here. No easy marks, but if you wanted to just rake the crowd and sort of go through and see if there's anything that tempts you.
Yeah, I'll look for a man because I don't like them,
Okay.
and maybe a middle-aged older man.
Once we realize what she's doing, our group is going to move on ahead away from her so that she can kind of blend in with the crowd.
Okay.
And we're gonna make our way back to Pataz so she can kind of trail behind us.
You find someone.
Yeah, I do.
Looks like a young Ian McKellen in wealthy robes. He appears to be, above average. Not a noble, but certainly better off than a commoner. He's part of this sort of emergent middle class that's happened as a result of the cataclysm. Previously there's only ever just been like the nobles and Pharaoh's family and the destitute poor and slaves. But there's so much opportunity to make money now. There's so much fortune to be had that there's sort of this developing middle class in the kingdom of Amon-Ra, which has never really been seen before. And he falls into that category of not enough to be a noble, but certainly he doesn't have to worry where his next meal is coming from.
Great. I'd like to fall into step silently behind him. He does not know I'm there. I don't have to roll for it. That's just who I am.
Fair enough. What I do need from you, though, is a sleight of hand check to pick your pocket.
And while she's doing this, I'm being the big brother and just staying behind in case she gets caught and I need to bail her out.
No, I hate that. Nope.
You don't see me.
Absolutely not.
You don't see me.
You don't say me. You don't tell me. Your deft hands find his coin purse easily enough, and you're able to lift that from his waistband without him even noticing. Whilst you're doing that, did you put it in the treasure chest? Yeah, good. You notice that next to that, where the coin purse was attached to his waistband, the coiled rope that makes up his belt is also attached to a silver sheath. A small, very slim, very elegant, like gentleman's dagger is also there. You wouldn't normally care about it, except that it has lapis lazuli encrusted pommel, like a nice chunk of lapis lazuli adorns the pommel, and that's of significant value. You're tempted to make a second pass. Up to you, though. Greed wins out. You deftly pull both the dagger and its sheath from his waistband and pocket it, and you're able to move on without him even being aware.
Just gonna turn around and wink at Amon. That's how I wink.
That needs some work.
No one saw it.
Very bad winker. Cool. For now, just put lapis lazuli dagger in your inventory so we don't lose track of it. And are we off out of town now?
Did we get that cage from Batal? Well,
Yeah.
she was tending to her business.
Yeah, that seems fair. We can stop by on the way out.
Wait, how much gold did I get?
Oh, you haven't opened the purse yet. Are you gonna do that here in town?
No. I guess I'll just... No. Okay.
You never count your money while you're sitting at the table.
Nope.
Sorry, that music was giving me a little bit of a headache. Let me break game for a minute and have a quick meta discussion.
Mm-hmm.
It's 11:40. We can stop a little bit early and pause right here. I don't know what everybody's day looks like. If you want to try to get into a combat today, we can sort of fast forward to the Griffin hunt and know that we'll run 20-30 minutes over. You guys tell me what you want to do. I know this was a little RP heavy, maybe more than we intended it to be, but it was an important gearing up session, and if we want combat, I want that to be an available option, but also being aware of the time.
I myself have something at 12:30 I need to do, so if we're done by like 12:15, I'm good. But if not, I probably got to bow out.
I'm okay with either. Since we're not going to be playing next weekend, maybe it's best to just stop now and start the next with the
Griffin.
with the Griffin. Yeah.
Okay. Then do you guys want to at least like do the hunting portion of that now, since we've got 20 minutes, and like we'll just leave the cliffhanger at roll initiative?
There you go.
Do it.
Okay. moving out into the deserts, then we stop by the Katal Arena, talk to Ptah, pick up the cage for the griffin, load it on the wagon, and we're out to the dunes. You guys are looking for a well-known but frequently avoided path called the Dustwind Gorge. And this is approximately where you find it. What I'd like here is to have Amon, or I guess whoever, anybody trained in survival, to give me a survival check as we start our path through the gorge.
I can do that.
Oh, I still have advantage on. Sorry. But my first roll was a 19.
Mm-hmm. Oh, okay. So we've
Nice.
got
Good
lots
job,
of
you guys.
successes. Yeah. Amon, you take the lead, I assume, as the ranger with the most experience. You're out in the van of our caravan here, maybe 20 feet ahead of everybody else. Eyes to the skies, because you're looking for, aerial predators. You don't see any sign yet. There's no obvious rookeries. There's no, feathers. There's no aerially hidden prey. Sometimes, like, land-based predators, these creatures will kill something, leave it high on a perch, and come back to it later, knowing that it's so high no one else is going to get to it. You're certain you're in the right place. You're familiar with Highwind Pass. You want to lead everybody forward. Oni and Hoppy, on the way into the gorge, you notice the remains of like an emergency carriage, like a first aid litter that you would make, that is basically like, an A-frame cobbled together with some dried desert wood, meant to carry like an injured person or a load that was too difficult to bear otherwise. Tossed to the side, it's coated in dried blood, and there's like a commotion of just an orgy of footprints and animal tracks all along this area. Certainly bears more investigation.
Yeah, go check it out.
I think our hunter would probably have the best chance at.
Yeah, we just lost Caleb.
Just from the animal tracks perspective.
Right off the bat, Amon knows that the animalistic tracks that you're seeing here are in fact those of a griffin. The other scattered tracks are not actually, they look like sort of serpentine paths. He corrects you in assuming that these are not actually snake tracks. They're the crescents left by the beating wings of a griffin as it ascends or descends from the ground, leaving these weird sort of false tracks. So sometimes it's hard to see or misread. But he also clearly sees two sets of human tracks, or humanoid tracks. I guess he can't determine for sure that they're not Tatarok, but people tracks as well. If anybody's trained in investigation, you can aid his inquiry here by rolling investigation. But no amateur sleuths.
I have a 1 investigation.
Beats me. I've got a -2.
So not you.
Can I intimidate
Nope,
the?
not me either.
Otherwise, we're just gonna have Amon roll investigation.
Yeah.
Right. Pull up my character sheet again.
Sounds like a little raptor.
It's baby griffins in the background.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You do your best, Amon, to sort of put the crime scene back together. The tracks don't make a lot of sense. To the best of your understanding, what it looks like is maybe one person was dragging a wounded comrade through the gorge here. It seems like they were on their way out, like heading out the way that you were coming in, and they were beset by a griffin. The tracks don't make a ton of sense to you. Your best conclusion is that it attempted to initially grab both of them, the wounded member and the rescuer, but didn't have the strength to bear them both aloft, so several times it dropped them in different places. There's like a scattering of, combat There's blood that you have to assume belonged to one of the people, most likely the injured person. The wing beats that create those sort of crescenty, serpentine paths in the sand tell you that the griffin most likely made it aloft and flew away, likely carrying one or both of the people. The drag marks look like something. This is where you get confused with the 11. You can't tell whether the drag marks that you're seeing are someone shuffling across the stone, trying to get to a low point ahead of you to hide, or if this is where the litter was being dragged from. All of the wing beats have disturbed all the sand. All you're trying to do is look for sign in the rock, and that is so hard to do. A griffin ate something here for sure, and there might be a survivor nearby, is your takeaway.
Shit went down here, man. These tracks aren't very old. I think we need to keep moving this direction. It looks like I can hear a griffin in the background.
Yes, it's close.
it's close, and it's probably still hungry. Let's keep on moving forward.
Traveling the way you are going, still with Amon in the lead, everybody's got their eyes peeled for danger. I just need to look up something really quick.
Did he communicate that we might be looking for somebody nearby?
I didn't hear him say it.
Sorry, I'm dealing with a naked baby.
Please don't let our child be naked on this. Please, God.
Ow.
Like, take a minute. It's okay.
On the way into the deepest section of the gorge, Amon notices something that doesn't seem right to his eyes, and he draws all of your attention to it. There's a small, stack of rocks that look unnatural, and that are stacked in such a precarious way. There's no way, just wind through this gorge wouldn't have dislocated them or moved them over time. Something about that stands out, so he gives you this silently, I'm watching this area, and he's going to circle around one side, looking for one of you to investigate. Do we have any volunteers?
I'll investigate.
I'll go up and look at it.
Moving up the pair of you towards the sort of almost stacked cairnstone pile, you see that there's fresh, shiny red drops of blood everywhere, leading up to this pile and smeared on some of the stones as they've been stacked.
So it looks like a burial site, right?
It is not that thorough.
So more like a cairn, or
it has that, in the very loose sense, if someone started making a very base foundation for something that was going to be stacked higher, this is what you're looking at. It's more like 7 or 8 rocks placed over something in a very haphazard fashion, and then dirt and sand were just kind of, filled in the gaps.
As though something is
Okay,
a bit
so that means someone... It looks like someone survived what happened up here, and someone didn't, or part of someone didn't. So there may be someone still right around here, guys.
Yeah. Do we want to take a look at? I'll start poking through the pile, see if I can uncover what was hidden.
You don't have to work hard. No roll needed.
Oh, sorry.
Move just the first stone aside, and you can see pale white human flesh. Digging just a few more out of there is a young man in his, late teens, early 20s, just white as a sheet, pale and not moving.
Not Geffen?
Not Geffen, although the body shape and age are not entirely dissimilar.
Can I check to see if never mind. Normie.
Well, somebody buried him. I'm gonna give out a roar and see if somebody comes.
That's a bold choice.
Like a
Uh,
griffin?
Mark, make a performance check for me. You're gonna hear me roar.
2. That's intimidating. You got like a frog in your throat.
Drowned out by the griffin in the background.
He goes to roar and he just goes meow.
Like, you strike the dramatic pose, giant curved minotaur horns pointed skyward, and you go to release your most intimidating battle cry / challenge to those who would murder such innocent a man. And just, unfortunately, your voice cracks and goes into like this high-pitched shrill for a moment and causes you to just silence yourself really quickly because that was a super embarrassing sound. And to
Oni,
force you to live in that shame, it echoes in the canyon.
Oh.
Oni, seriously, where'd you find this guy?
He's very big and muscular.
You should see him hit stuff.
2 or 3 seconds of awkward silence pass before, from somewhere above you and distant, you can hear the animalistic response, a deep, eagle-sounding caw that pierces the sky and just puts you on edge. There's something almost like primitive animal brain, visceral, about being hunted by something that flies, puts you at unease.
Well, yeah, it just heard a calf dying right now.
But
John, I would like to hide. I'd like to find a rock to hide under. I'd like to be completely out of sight.
Okay, give me a stealth check.
Nice. How does merge with stone work? Can I use it to hide other people as well, or just myself?
Let me refresh myself on that, but I think it's just you. Can you link it, or do I have to find it? Thank you.
This doesn't actually tell me what it does, it just tells me what the criteria is for it. What is Blade Ward?
Oh, so you're not even at the good levels yet. At level 3, you can cast Blade Ward as a cantrip. Blade Ward just gives you, it costs your action, but it gives you resistance to bludgeoning, piercing, and slashing damage from a non-magical source.
Ooh, then I will be casting that now.
But it lasts for 1 turn.
Oh.
So basically, anytime you want to give up your turn, you can get resistance for that turn.
Nah.
It's
Do
not
that now.
entirely useless. It's just like you diamond
Edge
skinning
of
up
death.
to prep
I
for
was
being.
Edge of
hoping I
death.
could, like, meld into the stone to hide.
You will eventually be able to do things like that, yes.
Okay.
Just not yet.
I would like to prepare a snare with my rope
Okay.
and try to anchor it to a rock, just in case I can try and get this snare around this thing.
Okay.
You gonna lasso it? You gonna
As a
lasso
backup?
him?
Kind of.
Yeah.
I'm gonna stand out in the open with my sword and shield.
I'll stand with Hoppy, and we should probably position ourselves near Amon's trap so that way,
Okay.
if it does come to us.
Amon, I need a dexterity check from you, which is just clicking the word dexterity, not dexterity saving throw, just the word dexterity from your character sheet. Okay. Gives me an idea of how solid a knot you tied if we are able to snare something. This will help me set the DC for how hard it is for the creature to break free or slip free of your noose. You guys wait expectantly for something to happen, and you can hear the cawing above you. At one point, you can even see a shadow crest over the desert landscape for a moment. But between the high slopes of this gorge and staring directly at the sun, incidentally, you really haven't seen the griffin itself yet, but you can feel and sense it all around you. Renan, as you took cover, you found a large section of the gorge that maybe years ago had fallen off and just landed like an A-frame lean-to. Provides tons of cover from the sky above, from the sun. It's this perfect little shady spot. You know, you have almost full cover from 3/4 of the gorge. Kind of like if you were to make a tent or a hunter's blind, this is what you would make. You find cover under there. And whilst you're there, you are accidentally standing next to a young woman. You were so cautious about taking your position that you didn't really notice her, and you were both like, she was so quiet to not want to reveal her own position. She didn't say anything until they're like, seconds of you both just sitting still until you do the huh? Awkward eye contact moment.
We can't hear Michelle.
No, not you.
Oh, yay.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I'm just going to look at her and go,
She's kind of doing the same thing to you. Like, no, don't bring it down here again.
okay.
Time passes. Seconds become almost a minute, and there's no more screeching, and you haven't seen its shadow swoop by for 40 seconds now.
Hey, Happy, you gonna call your buddy there again?
Yeah,
Let's hear your roar.
Shall I try roaring again?
Please. You got this. We believe in you. Much better.
Still don't
You
beat a
do
DC 10.
a much deeper bellowing roar that sounds a little bit more like a man bull and less like a
Cat.
calf child. Like, this has at least got your deep voice attached to it. It rings out through the gorge just like the previous high-pitched one did. There's no immediate response though. Like, there's not even a response from the eagle resounding in kind. There's just
We're now
silence.
being hunted.
The pair of the cause and your deep bellow have scared everything else in this gorge the fuck away. Like, anything else that is alive has decided to hole up or run away.
And end session.
Not quite. I would like each of you that is not presently hiding to make a perception check. I'm going to warn you that it must be quite high.
Do I have advantage to this because of danger sense?
I think
no,
Only two saving throws for dexterity, isn't
Yeah,
it?
yeah, that's right.
Amon, you're the only one that sees it. You see it, and Renan, from your position hiding a good ways away, you also see it. What is happening?
She's hiding.
Oh, she's hiding. I got it. Commitment to the roleplay. Love it. Renan, you see it first as a shadow. There's a giant circular shadow that has just suddenly appeared around your group of friends. Your family is now cast in this circular shadow. Amon, you notice that sudden absence of light, and both of you look skyward to see a massive section of the gorge, a huge boulder, is just falling out of the sky, landing straight on you. You have milliseconds to react, and that's where we're going to end the session.
Oh, talking about a cliffhanger.
Dang.
Awesome. I will
Well,
not be
it's
here
great
next
playing
week.
with you guys. We're all dead.
Roll up new characters.
And roll new characters.
Yeah.
Brennan will be the leader of the next group. So next week we're dark because I think we're missing 2 people on the 22nd, so we were going to punt.
Right.
Are we good for the 29th?
Yes.
Currently.
Yeah.
Let's plan the 29th at 9 a.m. then.
Thank you so
Alrighty.
much, you guys. Thanks, John.
Of course.
Yeah, thank you, John.
Thanks, John.